What is up? Welcome to episode 2 of A Glitch TV. I'm one of your hosts, Patrick Dees, and I'm joined by the lovely and talented Kate Elliott.
Hi.
She hates it when I do that. She hates it. You give me that look like you're neither one of those things, and I kind of
awkward. It's just weird.
I'll get more awkward. Stay tuned to episode 3 where I get even more awkward with the intro, because that's happening. So yeah, welcome to a very superhero-centric episode of Glitch TV. If you're new to the show, which we're still new, welcome back. If you haven't seen episode 1, we'd encourage you to check that out. But for people who are just tuning in, why are we here?
We are here to talk about all of the TV shows, all of the content that we can consume without cable television, because most of us don't have cable anymore. A lot of us don't even own televisions.
Nope.
This particular space has a projector and no TV, so this is the future. So these are all of the things that we get to watch on the internet for free, without subscription. It's really, really great, and we're going to cover what we like, what we don't like, then we're going to discuss with you what we're into and what we're going to look forward to next week. So.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of the show is that ultimately we get to discuss with the audience. This past week we got a lot of comments on our socks. I chose some very colorful socks last time. I not as colorful, but if you'd like to chime in as what color socks I should be wearing, I'd be really interested.
I just wanted to join the sock club. So.
You did. I think you're killing it.
There we go. Yeah. I don't know what that face was like.
So how was your week this week? I mean, I don't know.
It was great.
Okay.
I worked a lot, actually. 12-hour days. Unfortunately, that's what it's like in Hollywood if you work in the industry. You spend half the day at work. At the office or on set, doesn't matter.
It's like a humble brag. You know, if you're in Hollywood.
If you're
working.
I came from England, okay?
She's neither lovely or talented, and she just works in Hollywood. Blah, blah, blah.
What did you do?
What did you do? I actually I watched a whole lot of shows that were not on regular cable television, which we're going to talk about. I played a lot of The Witcher 3. Have you played this? Heard about this?
I haven't.
Unfucking believable. It is an unbelievable game. So I know we're not here to talk about video games, but between episodes of things you catch on Crackle, PlayStation Network, Netflix, highly encourage people out there to pick up a copy of Witcher 3. It is early front runner for Game of the Year, I think, at this point.
Very nice.
So good. So are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Oh my god.
All right, okay. So yes, like an enthusiastic 10 out of 10, yes. It's that of like RPGs. So like, I don't know, if you played BioWare's Dragon Age, it feels a little bit like baby's first RPG, right? It's a little bit like, I don't know, more like Tolkien-esque. This is very much like the Game of Thrones, this unsanitized fantasy.
That sounds great.
Unbelievably cool. So highly recommend
I'm
it.
in.
But that's not why we're here. We're not here talking video games. Although at some point I want to talk about this video games. We're here to talk about a lot of shows that you couldn't find on cable television otherwise. So let's jump right into it and take a look at what we're looking at this week. Marvel's Daredevil, episode number 1, Into the Ring, started off incredibly strong. She's already laughing at me. I get excited about this.
I wasn't laughing at you. I just pulled a really weird face because I'm so excited for this show.
No, it's awesome. Into the Ring was really strong. That first episode, the second one, which is called Cut Man, was the episode where I tell all of my friends, look, if you're not on board after watching this episode, stop. Just don't watch this anymore because this is what the show is all about. I think this sets the tone for the rest of the season. Again, I'm finished this out. So the spoiler-free conversation about only episode 2. So I'm not going to talk about the rest of the season.
I'm with you guys. I've only seen episode 2.
Which I'm glad that somebody is. Again, no self-restraint. I could not binge watch this show. It's the moment this episode I've been most excited to talk about would be Daredevil. So give me your general impressions. Like, what did you think? Like, how was this for you?
So this episode is really important to me and pretty much the whole Daredevil universe because this is where his dad dies, and that's a big part of Daredevil's life, that his dad gets murdered for not fulfilling a gambling agreement that he had with some dudes, for losing in his game. He was like, no, I don't want to lose this big fight I have. I need to win because my son believes in me, and I can also put some money aside for him later when I'm not going to be here anymore, because that's going to happen, obviously, when you get involved with these people. And then also, at the end, we get that magical one-shot fight scene. I don't know if it's fluidly one-shot, but it's made to look like a single shot, and it is just so impressive. I love it so much. Anything you're doing, it's one of those moments where you're eating dinner, watching TV, and then you're like,
oh my god, they haven't cut yet. Wait, what? They have it? He's still going? He's still punching. He's still punching people. Yeah,
and it's great. He's still so human because he's exhausted and falling sideways. He's like, oh my god, and then he picks it up again.
No, and I think that was interesting. Was like, I think that his father's setting up that, look, we Murdochs continue to get up when we're knocked down.
Not how you fall, it's how you get up.
And it's not,
Yeah.
I don't think anything in that sentiment is unique or original in the Heroes verse, but it played really well to this last scene because ostensibly Matt walks into the lion's den, if you will. Like, he's going to save this kid.
Yeah.
He knows it's going to be a messed up situation. And this episode starts with him already in a very bad place. Like, we start this episode with him in a dumpster. Right?
He's cut up, he has broken ribs, one of his lungs collapses, and then later that night he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go kill some dudes with my bare hands. It's totally fine. I'll be good.
So it's so good.
It's amazing.
It's so good. And this episode does a lot, right? Like, so we meet Claire this episode, who plays a huge role the rest of this season. She's so
great.
Rosario Dawson.
She is so beautiful.
I can't say that.
A great job.
Yep.
Dawson. Rosario Dawson.
Thank you. I'm just gonna point. Just every time I point, you do a shot, and she'll say Rosario Dawson. She was great, right? Like,
she was so fantastic in this role. I really thoroughly enjoyed this. She did an amazing job. This is, again, one of these TV shows you forget you're watching acting. You get so into it, you are just believing in the characters. It's just, so amazing. I'm all over the place with this segment.
No, because you're animated, right? Like,
so excited.
Taking a step back, I think this is one of those things that, like, we talk about the Marvel universe, and one of those things that, like, some things are hit and miss for me. A lot of them are a little bit too campy, but I think this is one of those things that, like, if somebody came to you and said, hey, Kate, what differentiates this show from the rest of the Marvel universe? I would ask you to point back to, I'm asking you and then I'm giving you the answer. I'm saying, like, point back to this rooftop scene where he literally takes an ice pick, is interrogating somebody by digging into his ocular cavity.
Through Claire's instruction as a nurse, this won't kill him, but it will hurt like hell.
And then throws his ass off the roof. And if you're wondering what's different about this show, that's that. It's that in a heartbeat. And again,
it's gritty.
It is. But, like, again, we talked about it last week, but it's not unnecessarily violent.
No, it's exactly where it needs to be. It really, for this story, I love the Daredevil story. This is probably the best version I've ever seen. And don't get me wrong, I love that movie that the critics panned and nobody else liked. I love the Daredevil movie, I love the Elektra movie, but this is killing it. It's amazing.
I think this was interesting too, because this one felt like he was all devil, no law, right? Like, so we spent the entire time with
very
him.
vigilante.
And you've already spoken about how her, Claire, in their relationship set up well. I kind of really liked how she was discovering his powers. There wasn't, like, a lot of needless exposition. That's one of my favorite things about the show in general, is just how lean it is. But I loved the restraint there, because that was a very easy setup to say, like, most of these shows, especially when they're introducing new characters, new backstory, new lore, they do this thing where, like, they have this exposition dump where it's two characters who clearly live in the world but are needlessly explaining the world to each other. Like, these are two people who grew up in Hell's Kitchen.
Totally.
They didn't, and so they do this thing very effortlessly where they introduce Claire and she's finding the abilities, but it's not this, like, well, I can do A, B, C, and D, and then it was effortless and lean, and the show
it
it keeps
seems
moving.
so real.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So, it was violent, it was gritty. Is there anything else that, like, you walked away with? This just blew my mind.
Every single scene is so well done. Again, I am so obsessed with the choreography and the fight choreography in this. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of eye candy to watch. I highly recommend it to anyone. And if you are squeamish, I don't care. Watch it anyway. It's so good.
It is incredibly violent for sure. But again, I think we talked about it last week a little bit. But it's realistically violent. Like, if a leg's gonna be broken, it's not gratuitous. But you know what? Breaking a leg really sucks. So it's getting thrown off a roof or getting, like, an ice pick in your ocular cavity. These aren't fun things. But yeah, I think this really sets the tone for the rest of the season.
Definitely.
We don't learn a bunch. Some new characters introduced. I don't know, Foggy and what's her name basically spent this whole episode
Karen!
getting a little drunk, getting a little flirty.
They were not.
No?
Flirting.
All right, that's what I want your opinion.
Foggy was flirting. Okay, Karen was like, no, but I loved seeing their friendship come together.
You don't think there's any sexual tension between those two? It's not a will they, won't they?
I don't think so. I think that they have decided that they're going to be firm, fast friends. And they just, in this episode, they really took care of each other because they were both going through some problems. Karen's still broken up about what happened to her in the first episode of getting beaten up and nearly killed. And Foggy's just there and he comforts her. And they get drinks together. And she's like, I don't want to go home. I can't get the blood out of my carpet. And he's like, let's not go home then. Let's go bar hopping. And I'm like, that's a good friend.
I agree.
Right there.
He was an amazing friend.
I love those two together.
So, but, like, and again, I know the answer to this. So, like, I'm asking you the question, what you think, and we'll chew it up as we go. But, like, do you think is it going to be a will they, won't they? And
no.
And is she into Matt?
I would say no, but then I wouldn't be surprised if later down the line it accidentally happens. That seems to happen with some people, and I can see that happening.
If it accidentally, explain accidentally.
I don't know.
When in your life is it accidental? Let's do therapy hour.
Never to me.
Never accidentally.
I have observed it with other people.
Okay.
Where people are like, we're just friends, but we did kind of sleep together a couple times.
Just kind of accidentally.
I don't know. I fell down and it happened.
Okay.
I don't know how it works. But it's a possibility it might come to. We'll see what happens. We'll put another $5 on the table.
Well, so do you think it will be this tease, or you think that they will actually get together? Is she involved with Matt?
I'm gonna say no.
Last question: if you were her, do you like Foggy or Matt more?
Okay, well, I already have a massive crush on Matt and Daredevil anyway, because I think he's great.
Yep.
But Foggy is a great character also, but I'm not.
You're not a Foggy girl.
I don't think. I don't want to make any lawyer comments.
On her Match.com profile, it says no Foggies, all Matts. That's all, It's weird. I don't know. I'll give out the URL at the end of the show. Guys, you can find her. No Foggies need to apply. Okay.
No, I think Karen's going to keep it professional. They saved her life, so she's very grateful, and she's going to continue to work off her debt, and I think that's as far as it's going to go. I think she's going to get other love interests, and they're just going to be like protective brothers. They're going to be like, no, you stay away from our girl.
Okay.
She's out. We're going to protect her now, so we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see.
So it was, okay. This has been our love corner. This has been our Match.com.
Love triangle going on there.
Again, the show is all about restraint. So it'll be, I can't wait to see, watch you react as we watch. So I can't wait to see. I know, just said.
What? Oh, no, what? I forgot. You've seen it, all of it.
I've seen it all. I know what happens. I can't wait to see what you guys think as we go here. So continue to watch along with us. Let us know what you're thinking about each episode. And again, if you didn't enjoy episode 2, take a long, hard look in the mirror and really evaluate what you're doing with your life. But yeah, just stop watching Daredevil, because I think this sets the tone for the rest of the season.
What do you know? What do you know?
All of it.
Don't make me get an ice cream.
All of it. We'll come back and talk about that, the episode 3 next week. Well, that's it. Episode 2 of A Glitch TV is in the books. You seem emotional. It's been a journey, is what she's getting at. We've laughed, we've cried, we've made fun of superheroes.
We have.
We get really into Hancock for some reason. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the movie next week.
Yes, I can't wait. I haven't seen it and I've heard so much about it. So this is another great excuse to be on the show as I get to learn new stuff. Along with you guys. It's wonderful. I love this.
So all kinds of ways to get a hold of us. Obviously, a big part of the show is the conversation. We want to hear from you. You hear this from a lot of shows, a lot of content on the internet says, hey, we want to hear from you. Join the conversation. But
we mean it.
Right?
That is a big part of the show. We mean it from our hearts. We want to know what you think. You're very kindly interested in what we have to say. And it's mutual. So let us know what's going on. If there are any shows that we haven't talked about.
Right.
Please let us know. We're interested to get involved in other things too.
No, totally. The stated point of the show is to help you find shows that are readily available for people who don't have cable television. If we're missing something and you're watching this screaming at your television or your computer screen or your phone, however you're ingesting this thing, why aren't you talking about fill in the blank? Then let us know. Yeah. And we'll start talking about fill in the blank. How can people get a hold of us?
There are several ways you can get in touch with us. You can join us on the Twitter conversation at A Glitch In. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, which I would love for you to do because we're going to build an audience here, and that's the best way for you to interact with us really is through the comment section. Please do subscribe. You can also follow us on Facebook, A Glitch In, and we also have a website, aglitchin.com. So whichever tickles your fancy, I don't know why I did this at the same time, whatever tickles your fancy, join in on the conversation. We look forward to discussing with you.
We do a lot of fancy tickling around here. So come back. God, that's so Amber Alerty. That was really gross. But come back. Join us for episode 3 in A Glitch TV, and we will see you next week. Videos, but between episodes of things you catch on Crackle, PlayStation Network, Netflix, highly encourage people out there to pick up a copy, which is great. It is an early front runner for Game of the Year, I think, at this point.
Very nice.
So good. So, are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Oh my god.
All right, okay. So yes, like an enthusiastic 10 out of 10, yes. It's that of like RPGs. So like, I don't know, if you played BioWare's Dragon Age, it feels a little bit like baby's first RPG, right? It's a little bit like, I don't know, more like